I'm Tom Gensel, PSBA's Executive Director. I'd like to talk to you today about a new report from PSBA's Education Research and Policy Center. You may recall that we launched this center back in April with a study on school district mergers and consolidation. Our new study looks at charter school performance. Why charter schools? Well, they've been around for a while. They really go back to the 1990s. And by all indications, they're here to stay, looking at the strong support they received from the Republican Bush administration and now the Democratic Obama administration. We have a lot of charter schools in Pennsylvania and about 70,000 students enrolled in charter schools. So PSBA wanted to take a look at how they're doing. How well are charter schools educating kids? In Pennsylvania, it's important to say that charter schools also include cyber schools. So we're looking at both the brick and mortar charter schools and the internet-based cyber schools. Charter schools generally are public schools that operate under a contract granted either by, in our case in Pennsylvania, by the local school board or on appeal to the state charter school appeals board. But in any event, they operate with a contract, so they operate for a certain period of time and with certain commitments to educate groups of students in certain grade levels, for example. So what we wanted to do was to see how well charter schools are performing this important function of educating students. This is a bit challenging because in some ways charter schools really are quite different than traditional public schools, both because of those charters they operate with and because many charter schools have themes or they tend to try to attract certain demographics of students. And of course, we also know under the charter school law, these schools have a great deal more flexibility and less state regulation than do traditional public schools. So our research staff took a look at a lot of data and student performance, basically state test scores, to see how these schools are functioning. And what we found in Pennsylvania was that the growth of charter school populations largely mirrors the national trends in terms of additional grade levels and more students participating. And we've seen over time in Pennsylvania that the demographics of the students actually in charter schools are becoming closer and closer to those of the public schools generally. And by this I mean percentage of students who are in special education, the percentage who are economically disadvantaged, for example. We also found that there's a wide disparity in charter school performance. Some are doing very well, others not very well. And in particular, our report highlights concerns about the performance of many of the cyber schools that have been approved over the last number of years. And so what comes out of this, I think, is a real call to action for the legislature to take a good hard look at charter schools generally and particularly cyber schools to make sure that they are in fact educating students as they promised and that they meet the expectations of parents and the taxpayers who are funding them. This report is going to be the basis for a lot of work that we'll be doing in the legislature and in terms of educating the public generally. The report will be formally released at the October School Leadership Conference in Hershey. It'll be posted on the PSBA website, psba.org, and reported in the October issue of the PSBA magazine, the PSBA Bulletin. We see this as kind of a first wave of work that we'll be doing on this subject. Additional reports will be looking at the financial performance of charter schools and other related issues. And I would just say that the work of the PSBA Education Research and Policy Center is, I believe, an example of the association working on behalf of member school boards to identify important public policy issues, to examine them with good solid research, and to offer recommendations for legislative action. So you'll be seeing other reports coming out of this center in the coming years, and we certainly welcome your recommendations on additional topics that are worthy of examination. As always, it's great to talk with you, and I look forward to another conversation soon.